Good morning, y'all. Welcome to another video on the Luderco Arms channel. So if you've been watching the channel the last month or two or three, I mean depending on how long it takes this video to come out, then you know that we lost a bunch of cars because some drunk woman wrecked them all in our driveway in the middle of the night. She was running from the cops. So we've been having to get some new vehicles to replace our Chevy Colorado pickup truck and our Toyota RAV4. So the deal with the pickup truck, when I bought that, I bought that truck, and then when my daughter turned 16, we gave her my wife's old car, which was a RAV4 Toyota. And the deal was she was going to drive the Colorado until I got it paid off, and then we were going to buy her a new Toyota. She likes Toyotas. Well, now that that woman destroyed our vehicles, we had to change up the plan a little bit. And of course, when I got her a new car, I was going to get my truck back. And so now we've got the new RAV4 and the used Highlander for my wife and daughter. And I just went and paid for this. So this is an 06 Dodge 1500. Now, this I bought from my mother-in-law. It had belonged to her husband. He passed away a couple of years ago, and prior to that he had dementia, so this truck has not really been used a whole lot in the last 3 years. It's pretty much sat. She's used it to haul trash off and such, and it's been sitting in her driveway, and one of her grandkids wants to use the basketball goal, so she told me come buy this thing from her and I can have it. So I did, and today we're going to change the oil and service it, because I'm not sure when the last time that's been done, and nobody is. But I'm also going to get underneath it and take a good look at this truck. There's some things we're going to have to fix on it. So the paint on the front it's all peeling off. This thing's been resprayed. There's no doubt that it's been in a wreck at some point, and I'm pretty sure that was prior to my mother-in-law's husband buying it. He bought it used. There's quite a bit larger gap between the bed and the cab on this driver's side than there is on the passenger side, and the door pops and squeaks. So yeah, plus, you know, obviously the respray here up on the hood starting to peel off. But of course I don't care about any of that. All I care about is having a decent enough truck to drive back and forth to work, pull them trailers to the scrap yard when I need to haul scrap. So yeah, it's got some dents and dings, nothing big, don't care. It's got a V6 in it, 3.7, seems to run good. It is a base of the base models. It's a single cab V6. There is nothing fancy on the inside of it. It doesn't even have a console in here. It's just a thing. I'm gonna probably go to the wrecking yard one day and see if I can pick up the center console for one of these and bolt it in place of that, because I can use the center console a whole lot more than I can use that jump seat. So I got oil and everything, and there's also Jeep parts and stuff. I had to bring them up from down at the house. So let me get this thing pulled in the shop and we'll start doing the service on it. Be right back. All right, I got it in the shop. There's not much room. I can just squeeze past the front of it. Honestly, I've got to find a better place to store my jack stands in this rolling table. I just don't have much room in here to work. But so there's the motor. Like I said, it's a 3.7 liter V6. I got it up on the ramps, and I got my oil pan, and I got the usual suspects for oil drain plugs. We'll see. This is the first time I've owned a Dodge. All the cars that I've ever owned. But get onto this creeper here. Get some light up under here and see what we got going on. Right off the bat, I can see we've got oil leak rear seal of the transmission. We'll have to get one of those ordered and replace it, because it is definitely leaking. Probably at the same time we'll go ahead and get a filter and change it, because I don't know if that's ever been changed. So looks like we've got a drain plug right here on the back of the oil pan. So get my pan here, see how big a mess we can make. Let's see if Dodge uses one of the usual suspects. And that looks a little small. Aha! ½ is the winner. Pretty much anything is going to have ½ inch 9/16 or a 14 or 15 millimeter drain plug. Been my experience. So oh boy, that's tight. All right. Let's see here. Let's hang that up like that. Let's see what we can do. See if we can miss the drain, or see how bad we can miss the drain pan. So that's usually how this turns out. Ah, we actually got it in there. I mean, other than the splash all over the floor, but all right. Yeah, definitely think she was overdue for an oil change. Like I said, they had been using this as a trash truck, so ain't no telling when the last time they changed the oil in it was. I know it can't be too far overdue, because he took real good care of it while he was alive. Alright, so I'm gonna go get a rag, wipe my hand off. I'll be right back. Alright, let me see if I can show you all this. So you see the oil's draining here. It's dripping now. And up here, see if I can get this in the right spot. Right up there, you see that blue oil filter. That's the engine oil filter. And I'm going to show y'all one of the many, many reasons why mechanics absolutely hate engineers. So, see if I can get this light where I can get the camera in here and still see everything. So, if you look, I'll hold this still here. Alright, there's the oil filter, and what's right below the oil filter? A steering rack So what do you suppose is going to happen when I start unscrewing that oil filter? Oil is going to drip out of it all over that steering rack, and then I'm going to have to clean that up. So things like that are why mechanics don't like automotive engineers. Purposely made that where it's going to drip right onto that steering rack when I unscrew it and make a damn mess. That's a damn shame. Alright, plus I usually on the Chevy, it didn't matter so much because the oil filter was on top. But one thing I'll say about Toyota is I can take this oil pan and drain the oil. When it gets to dripping like this, I can move it all the way to the edge and it's still under the oil filter, and I can take the oil filter off and you'll get a little bit more oil out of here as you break that seal. I'm not going to be able to do that here because it's 4 feet away and I don't want to mess up another oil pan. So we're going to put our plug back in. And I've said it on some other videos, but you do not need to torque the ever-loving crap out of an oil pan. The torque value on these is very low. So if it's leaking, you need to replace the rubber or plastic or copper seal washer that's on it. Alright, so there we go with that. Now we got to move this over here so we can make a mess with this oil filter, I'm thinking. So I'm thinking the chances, oh man, that the shop that did his oil changes didn't over tighten that damn oil filter are slim to none, but we'll see. I'll probably have to crawl back out and get the oil filter wrench, but we'll give it a shot. Oh no, they actually didn't. That's nice. Alright, let's see how bad this is going to make a mess. Well, it's not too bad. Luckily, this is not Jiffy Lube, and I'm not trying to do this as fast as I can, so I can let that drain out a little bit and not have to get my arm in it too much. So it looks, so far, like I was mistaken, and that may not drip on that rack. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't got it off yet. So far it's not bad though. Now let's see what we can do with it. Try to get my rag here where it's going to catch all the drips and not get oil all over my arm. And hopefully y'all can see this, because I'm not. It's always hard to aim the camera and do work while you're under a vehicle, but alright. Well, that wasn't too bad, really. Not too shabby. Alright. Well, let's go get the new oil filter. I'll be right back. Alright. I have got my new filter ready to go on. I've already put some oil on the seal. And also, people always ask, I use these Wix filters. So we just put it back on there and make sure you don't cross thread it. Spin it up on there. And I don't ever put a wrench on these when I put them back on, but I've got pretty good grip. Hand tight is good enough. You don't need to put a wrench on this when you put it back on. You want to get it basically as tight as you can with your hand. Now if you have some kind of problem or weakness where your hand can't really grip, then you might put a wrench on there and tighten it just a little bit, but hand tight is good enough. Rust. All right, so now that we've done that, we're gonna slide back here and look, but I think that this drive line has sealed U-joints. Yeah, it does. There's no grease fitting in that one. So, yeah, there's no grease fitting in that U-joint. I don't know if you can see this. There's no grease fitting in this one either. So that's pretty much it for underneath here. For now, we're going to slide out. Just give me a second. Bear with me. All right. Okay, so we got our oil filter on. Now we've got to put oil back in this. So let me get the oil and I'll be right back. All right, so now we are back up here on top of the engine. So our dipstick for the engine is right here. We're going to go ahead and pull it out. Look how long that thing is. And wipe it off. And set it to the side for now. We got our cap right here where the oil goes back in. It just unscrews like so. Wipe the gunk off of it. Set it there. I'm going to take my rag and wipe the gunk out of this. That is nasty. But, alright. Got our, got to get a different funnel. That's not going to reach down in there. Let's see. That one won't reach down. It looks like we're going to have to use a transmission funnel on this thing. Alright. So be it. This motor calls for 5W30. So we got some 5W30 synthetic here. And we'll start pouring that down in there. Now according to the book, this takes 5 quarts. And it just so happens that I'm holding a 5-quart gallon, as we call these jugs. Unfortunately, I had to use this long funnel to get in there, and being a transmission funnel, it's skinny and the oil does not drain down in there as fast as with a normal setup, but we'll make do. Alright, so we're just going to set that there and let it drain in there for a while. And while that's going on, we will pull this air filter. Just some clips are falling off. One's missing already. Check this air filter. Get a grip on it. This air filter's not too bad, but I bought a new one, so I'm going to go ahead and put it in there. No sense in not putting it in there since I've got it. And I'll know that we're starting off with a brand new one. Get this back down where it's supposed to go. Clips back up. Clip on over here. There we go. So we got a new air filter, oil going in, washer fluid is full, antifreeze is full. Now I did have to add some antifreeze to this, so I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. It wasn't a lot, but I'm kind of worried. Oh man, I'm kind of worried now because I'm seeing a lot of what looks like water contamination in this oil fill, but that could just be because of the humidity and this thing not running that much, because the oil that it drained out definitely did not have any sign of being of having any water in it, so I'm not that worried about it. Put your cap back on, make sure that it's go. Cap's back on. Alright. Now, I'm not going to check the oil level. I've put 5 quarts in there, and that's supposedly the amount that this takes. But what I'm going to do is back off of these ramps first before I check the oil level. And that'll also crank the truck up and get the oil filter filled with oil, so we'll get a good reading. So let me get the truck backed up and I'll be right back. Alright, so I got her back off of the ramps, and now I have room to walk around in front of it. One of these days I'm going to get some more storage where I can move some of the stuff out of the shop that I don't use all the time and have some more room in here. But for now, since we cranked it up, moved it off of the stands, now we can check our oil level, and it should be right, but we'll stick this big old long dipstick down in here and see. Let me grab my rag here. Alright, pull that back on out of there. And our oil level is right where it's supposed to be at. So we'll put that back in there. Now normally when I change oil on something, I'll fill up all the fluids, which I did that. Brake fluid's good, washer fluid, coolant. I had to add about 1.5 quarts of coolant, so I'm gonna keep my eye on that coolant tank and make sure it stays where it's supposed to be. We did the air filter, so what I'm going to do is jack this front end up and pull the wheels off and check the brakes, and also check the ball joints and the tie rod ends. I'm not going to film all that. If I find anything wrong, you'll see it when I do a video of fixing all that. But right now I need to get this done, because then I've got to start on the tedious job of stripping. You can see how awful that tint is. I'm gonna have to strip the tint off of this truck because it is terrible. You literally cannot see through that window. You can't see anything out of the mirror. It's terrible. So I'll be doing that. That's a whole lot of elbow grease and not much of interest. So that's about it. So you'll probably be seeing some more videos with this truck in it as I take care of it. I don't think I'm going to do a whole lot of anything to it other than just regular maintenance and driving it back and forth to work. But regular maintenance, always end up with something to do. So I know it's got disc brakes on front and back, so that's good. I'm probably going to end up at some point putting some fog lights in this bumper just to give me a little bit better lighting to see. But that's about it. Nothing fancy. Be a good truck. Can't beat the price. So that's about it for this video. Hopefully it hadn't bored you too much. I know I'm probably not doing the greatest job with this one today, but hey, it's been a long weekend. It's Sunday. In case you don't know, my son and his wife had a baby late Friday night, early Saturday morning, late Friday night. We spent a long time at the hospital. She was in labor for like 30 hours, and then she wanted to do it naturally. They finally decided she needed to have a C-section, so they did that. But mom and dad and baby are all A-okay, and now I got a grandkid and I'm a grandpa. So, well, we'll see how life goes from there. Anyways, hope y'all enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Appreciate y'all watching. Y'all have a good one.